Hi, welcome to Project Beats. If you're new, my name is Joven. I'm a session drummer and a music teacher. And I want to share with you my experience with the BGVP DM8 from a musician's perspective. I've had this for about a week now, and by far this is the longest ear time I had with any of the IEMs I have reviewed. I just can't put this thing down. It just calls you. It has some strange magic to it. Let's talk about it. Alright, so here is the box that it comes in. Comes in a colorful print box. Printed at the back are some of the specs of the DM8. Here are some paperwork and other info. This is a demo unit for reviewers like myself, and the IEM wasn't in the foam holder. I tried to put it back in the packaging and I'm not sure if I placed it back correctly. Anyway, it comes with an accessory box. First up is the 2.5 balanced to 4.4 balanced angled adapter. Also comes with a 2.5 to 3.5 adapter and a cleaning brush. Different selection of ear tips is provided. You have a bass ear tips which give you more bass, vocal ear tips that enhances vocal region, balanced ear tip, and lastly you have a memory foam ear tips. Apart from the stock ear tips which would be on the IEM itself when you get your package, you also get a nice metal carrying case, and inside you get this premium 8-cord cable with a cable tie, which is always good to have. This is a detachable MMCX connector with a 2.5 balance plug. You could possibly get a Bluetooth adapter if you wish, or use other MMCX cables and accessories you may already have. This clear IEM shell is the one that I was testing. The cable has these metal parts on the Y splitter, cinch, and the plug terminal, which is a bit hefty. I'll talk more about that in a bit. The stabilized wood shell is actually quite nice. Finish and quality are great. You can customize your DM8 when you order from Audio, but only the resin shells and not the wood shell. You can get custom faceplates or make it a custom IEM. By the way, big thanks to Audio for lending me this review unit. Another detail here is a small port which gives it a bit more air and space, which I would say works great. In terms of build quality, these feel premium. Cables are 8-core that splits to 4-core going to the IEM. Comfort-wise, I've no problems with the shells themselves. They fit nicely and I could listen with these and have it on for quite a while. The stock ear tips for me is the best sounding, so I just kept it for the duration of my testing. First sitting, this blew me away. Super impressive, very spacious, and very engaging. For sound isolation, this pretty much shuts out external noise when you have it on and you have music playing. You wouldn't notice the outside world with these, except for maybe excessive noise. I've tried it on my commute to work on trains. I could still enjoy the music, but I would still recommend to use this in a more peaceful environment. That way you don't have to increase the volume too much to compete with the outside noise and you enjoy your music more. Okay, let's get to sound quality. The bass on these, wow, just amazing. And this isn't even their highest end model. I've tried IEMs from big brands from a while back. I don't remember any of them leaving that strong impact on me. And those were priced easily more than twice above or even 3 times more than this. And I cannot recall any of them having this much punch on the lows. Don't get me wrong, this has a strong low, but it's more like a soft gut punch. Not overwhelming at all, almost gentle and really natural sounding, if that makes sense. The bass extension, wow. You can clearly hear and feel it. You know that feeling when you're in the cinema and you hear and feel that rumbling low, like THX levels. It's clean, it feels good, and it's not distorted. That's how I feel with this thing. Any song that has that low rumble, you would notice it. Check Jonas Brothers Sucker at 1 minute 28 mark. This can hold that low rumble. Bass guitar lines are clear as day. Low rumbles are there and they are very clear. Kick drum is not just a low thud. You can hear the quality, the tone, and the character of the acoustic bass drum, floor toms, and bass guitars. Low on this, super. On mids, vocals are clear. Separation is nicely done. For me, it has a good body on the rhythm section. Imaging and separation is great. You can clearly hear every detail. It is well balanced and has a bit of a warm character. The vocals sit just a smidge above the rhythm section. You can still clearly get the nice energy from the instruments. Okay, for the highs, this is just my personal take. There are some tracks that are mixed and mastered a bit brighter than other tracks. And usually I tend to turn down the volume on these tracks because for me, they sound just a bit much. For example, snares, brass, and other instruments that live in that region about around 5K pierce through a bit too much. But in the DM8, I didn't have to. Some of those tracks for me are Bruno Mars 24K album, Benny Greb, Grapefruit, Israel Houghton, and some others. But some of you might possibly like that. That's just me. So this for me is magic. I usually play with the volume knob depending on what track comes up, and I usually like to listen loud and really get into music. But with these, I didn't have to do that. Highs are clear and bright. They retain that nice shimmer to it. I know some of you may disagree, but for me, the highs on this is great. Okay, drum practice. For acoustic drum practice sessions, like other IEMs, unless your drums are mic'd up, you have monitoring set up and all, you will not hear your drums on these. Other instruments might be easier to set up. You just plug in your instrument into an interface and then play back. Easy. For eDrums practice though, it's a different story. The eDrums in these sound full. You can hear the actual character of the kit in these. The tone of the toms that doesn't usually come through other headphones or speakers. You hear them through these. And the lows, I mean, no complaints there. These are amazing IEMs for eDrums practice. I have one complaint though. The only con I can think of is the weight of the cables. I don't know why they decided to use those metal parts on the cable. They do display quality, I'll give them that. But for long practice sessions or stage monitoring or tracking or just long listening sessions, you will feel the weight of the cables for sure. A couple solution I can think of is you either swap out the cables for a lighter one. I'm not sure how that will affect the sound quality. Or you can use a cable clip, then clip the cables onto your shirt to help ease the weight of the cables. That's the only complaint I have with these. Okay, for imaging and soundstage. If you listen to Finesse by Bruno Mars, you could hear the woodblocks in the chorus part coming from behind you. That's how great the soundstage is. The imaging and separation of the instrumentation are spot on. There's no fighting for space between the kick and the bass guitar. They are clearly laid out. I could hear both in detail in George Duke's It's On. The soundstage is big. I was enjoying tracks by Tower of Power. Also, Fat Functions Don't Destroy the Funk. You can enjoy the range that this IEM can handle. It gives you the low energy well, and the clarity of the horns is nicely presented. Keys and organ supporting the rhythm backbone are clearly felt. There were a lot of funky bass guitar lines here against the drum groove, and you could hear every detail and appreciate everything that was going on. Another track that I listened to that also showcases this IEM's capability is Jacob Collier's Hideaway. You could appreciate the headroom and the range from the low beefy rumbles at the beginning of the track to the finer details of the different instruments that were used in the track. Even some details that you don't really hear on normal or average headphones, you could hear with these. Just on this track alone, you feel how immersive this IEM can be. The representation of the instrumentation was just lovely. I really like how the imaging and soundstage were implemented. Okay, I tried to mix with these to see if it will work as a mixing IEM. I did, however, apply a couple of plugins to help with the mixing process. First is a corrective EQ over the stereo output, which I may end up fine-tuning, and also I added Waves NX1 to simulate the space when mixing with studio monitors. I would say in this setup, it definitely works. If you'd like to mix with these, my recommendation is to listen to a lot of different records and really get to know your IEM. And second is to A/B test it with any speaker you own. iPhone speaker, car speaker, TV speaker, anything. Here's a drum mix that I recently uploaded. I won't tell you what the setup is just yet, but take a listen. Yeah? What do you think? Drums here are recorded using two mics, which isn't even a proper mic setup for drums. One mic is an SM57 as front or kick mic, and then a cheap vlog mic as mono overhead. You can see there are mics on the toms, but those are for another track I'm working on. What do you think? Pretty good, right? To be honest, this wouldn't be my first choice when it comes to mixing, but if you need to, you should be able to get a decent mix using this with a couple of plugins that should be able to assist you with the mixing process. Okay, final thoughts. This thing has air, width, depth, and detail that not a lot of IEMs possess, especially for the price point. The DM8 is HiFi, is well refined, feels and sounds premium. Apart from my one complaint, which is the weight of the cable, it is a killer set. There are a few subtle details that you would notice through these. Details which you could completely miss with other IEMs, or you just don't hear some of them at all. But here they just really pop out right in front of you. I enjoy listening with these as much as I enjoy my ear time with my open back headphones. Sure, they don't sound the same, but I'm talking about the feeling you get when listening on these. And there aren't a lot of headphones that make me that excited. If you're still thinking about getting a DM8, don't. Just get it. You will enjoy it. This is a great HiFi IEM, and if you're a musician looking for a more technical IEM, this could be your pair. Or if you just want a great sounding IEM, I would easily pit this against major brands that are priced 3 times more. That's about it from me. I hope you like this video. If you do, please consider subscribing, hit like, and comment below what IEM you are currently using. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Ring the bell and see you in the next project.